December the 5th, 2024. Hey, crossing the line, man. College football championship week, man. This is gonna be exciting, calculator. I can't wait, man.
And greetings and salutations to begin the show, of course. But what I love about this is finally NCAA has gotten rid of all these Western Division, Eastern Divisions. And they say, okay, we're just going to make a schedule and we're just going to take the top two seeds play each other. We're not going to take the top seed from one division, but because if you look at the Big Ten, we had all good teams in one division. Look at the SEC, we had all teams in one. Now, granted, it's still far from perfect because you could pick at the Big Ten, Indiana not being able to play. Who was it? Penn State not
Penn
being able to
State,
play. Iowa, but the better team.
Michigan.
The only good team they played. Now Indiana did play Michigan and they beat
Well,
Michigan.
they wiped them out. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was still very unbalanced. Look at Penn State. They didn't play a Michigan. They played Ohio State, got beat. Believe it or not, the hardest team in the Big Ten, the schedule was Ohio State. But Indiana didn't play Oregon.
Right.
Penn State didn't play Oregon. And you could say on the flip side, Oregon didn't play them. As well. So how good are these teams? I mean, we'll find out when they get to the playoffs. But by the end of that, they could have stolen a spot, in my opinion, from somebody else. Everybody was talking about Alabama jumping Miami because Miami not playing. I'm sorry, Miami's schedule, in my opinion, was harder than Indiana's overall. I mean, just look at the non-conference schedule for Indiana, a bunch of FCS schools. But then all the other Big Ten homers are coming out saying, well, whoever Indiana played, they obliterated. I don't care about that. Hey, beating Purdue by 50 is not, beating California. Even California was not a good team. California was much better than Purdue, by 3 points, So, but it'll get better because this is the first year in thing. And I just hope the playoff committee, I do not want, like if Georgia loses to Texas, they're talking about Georgia being in like the 7th seed that would be on a collision course in the quarterfinals with Texas. I don't want to see Georgia and Texas for a third time unless it's in the national championship. You know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness. Oh, Mr. 411, don't get me started on that. We're going to see that picture again later on, a little preview. So, but hey, enough of my soapbox. I know a lot of people don't want to hear the calculator talking about, his gripe with the things, but hey, but the bottom, what I'm getting to is this is the first championship week I can remember in a long time, Mr. 411, where we don't have a spread of over 30 points.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's a good sign.
Yes.
So that means we should have some good games.
Yes.
And I can't wait for us to dive into it. So, we're going to do that in about 2 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Yay, man. Bo loves that song, man.
Right. Hey, you getting Bo fired up. He's getting the adrenaline pumping as he's walking the halls of the Kohl's Distribution Center, trying to get people for the getting their things ready for the special season coming up, my friend.
That's right. Welcome to Crossing the Lines with the calculator as we do our friendly wager episode. And this is the College Football Championship Week edition. Make sure you do a couple things for us on TikTok here, Mr. 411. Scan that QR code. Same thing on Instagram. Scan that QR code. Mr. 411, or you can type that in as well. Either way, we appreciate it. Don't forget, we are on YouTube, especially right now. We're live on YouTube. So in order to keep up with us, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, make sure you share because sharing is caring and all that kind of stuff. But if you type in 411 Sports World Network on YouTube, you'll have that opportunity to do that. Isn't that right, calculator?
No, sorry. Hey, and also, if you don't mind, press the like button as well. Because we want to we want people to actually enjoy the show because hey, even when we have a bad week, which it's hard to make a living on this, so you're gonna have bad weeks every now and then, but we try to at least give out the information. We try to take the research, not let people have to do as much research as we do ourselves. That kind of do this as a side business. But anyways, we hope you like it. We try to entertain you. We try to give you facts and make it fun while you watch the show.
Exactly. All right. Well, the voice that you're hearing is the calculator. All right. So check them out. The calculator.
I like it, Mr. 411.
Let's do it. All right. So Friday Night Lights calculator. Okay. Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. The friend of the show, man. He's a Western Kentucky guy.
Yeah.
And they're at Jacksonville State, man. Jacksonville State. This should be a good one.
Hey, yeah. And let's say you talk about friend of the show, Dr. Sachs. He had one of his earlier publications of algorithm theory published at Western Kentucky. I think that's why he has a soft spot for him. So, hey, I have a soft spot if Dr. Sachs has a soft spot in his heart for them. But, hey, with the loss incurred by the local football team for the calculator, I got an earlier vacation than I was expecting. Yes, Peach County lost. Calculator was sad. But you know what? The calculator always likes to look at the glass half full. So, what can I get from that? Hey, at least I get to watch all the games from beginning to end, which I will be now. And listen, the Hilltoppers surprised Jacksonville State just last week and handed them their first conference loss, right? And what did they get for giving them the first conference loss? They got to be able to play Jacksonville State next week in the championship game. And
right.
So if you apply, and that was at Western Kentucky. Well, now this one's at Jacksonville State. These are one of the conference games where the conference number one seed actually gets home field advantage in this. So Jacksonville gets State at home. I'm looking at a 6-point spread. Or 6-point, swing. If you take the Sagarian home field advantage that he calculates, that would actually be Jacksonville State by 4 or 3.5. That's too close, and that's where the line is. So when it's too close, how can I exploit this? Well, I'm going to exploit it from an over/under perspective. Normally I don't stay away from that, but I just couldn't do it because I think both these teams have solid defenses. And I think early on, it's going to be, even though they played each other, I think it's going to be close to the best. Don't want to make major mistakes because you want to be able to be the conference champion, everything on the line. So I think if you look at what Jacksonville State done in their last two games, even though they lost, they only gave up 19 points. Heck, Sam Houston State just a week earlier, in their win, scored 21-11. Well, folks, this is it. They're expecting a shootout, 57.5. So I just don't see that happening. I think it's going to be one of those defensive, kind of like they call it a rock fight sometimes. So yeah, I'm going with. I think this. Also. An underreported story, which is kind of funny, is the Jacksonville State quarterback Huff is actually banged up, and there is word on the street that he is iffy for the game. So that's just another example or another factor that I'm going for an under. So yeah, Western Kentucky is going to try to muddy it up. And even if Huff is out there, I think he's not going to be 100%. So, hey, 57.5 is just too many points. I think this is going to be actually in the upper 40s, low 50s, not 57.5. So, yeah, I like under 57.5 for Friday this Friday night.
All right. And look, Friday. In honor of Friday, right? We gotta get some fries out here, man. But yeah, what a season there for Peach County, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you. And Mr. 411, I mean, 411. the fries were, I was selling so many fries. They said they're going to buy me a third fryer for next year because they were
Oh,
getting
wow.
7. So you're Fry Daddy. We're going to have 3 colanders and 3 things going, 3 propane tanks because I got to get another propane. Again, I said, hey, the fries were so good and I couldn't keep up. I really couldn't. And then when you get colder weather, it takes longer for the fries to actually get done because the temperature's escaping. So yeah, they're going to get me a third propane tank and a third fryer going. So yeah, I got to keep it. It's hard to keep up with demand. They was going through the charts. It was crazy.
Oh,
People
well, hey,
love the fries at the Peach County High School football game. So I guess I must be doing something right, Mr. 411.
yeah, you are, man. Hey, man, when they want it, man, when the people want it, there you go, calculator. You're getting it done, man. So, hey, I'm gonna have to jump in there right there in August next year. I'm gonna jump right in there. Even if if they have a scrimmage game, we go Fry Daddy. You need to be out there.
Hey, well,
All
now,
right.
Fry Daddy's only out there when my daughter asks me to be out there because she's the head of the concession stand. So she said, Fry Daddy, I need help this Friday. I said, I'll be there because I try to clear my Friday nights in case Peach County needs me.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, calculator. What else we have next? Looks like
Hey,
Tulane and Army.
Tulane Army. Folks, this opened at Tulane -3.5. And man, once Brad Powers, the experienced handicapper, put out a tweet about what the Tulane head coach, John Summerall defenses, has done against option teams, this line is all the way up to 5, folks. This is why we say like, subscribe, notify. I don't know how long it's going to be at -5 because, folks, when you look at the historical trends of what John Summerall defenses does against option teams, folks, when he was with Troy, he faced Army twice, once in 2022, once in 2023. This year, his Tulane Wearing Wave played Navy, and you see it on the graphic, shut him out. Folks, in the 3 matchups against option offenses, John Summerall defenses has allowed a total of 9 total points combined through those 3 games, which is pretty much to say they know how to play the option. So, and you know, can say, hey, calculator. You really going to count the Tulane game? They their quarterback got hurt. We had a backup. I'm sorry. It don't matter because triple option is one of the few offenses really is negligible for, you're going to have some setback, but they blanked them totally. So yeah, they were doing something right, and on the offense, Tulane quarterback Mensa has a 20-5 touchdown to interception ratio, should find success against a team that has a defense havoc rate ranked in 106. In other words, they don't pressure the quarterback very well or very often. And let's just look at the Army schedule. Up to this point, their schedule was ranked 134th in the NCAA. They have avoided the top 3 teams in their conference. Tulane didn't get to play them. Memphis didn't play them. Navy, they'll play them next week. So we hadn't even seen them play against the top 3 in their own conference. So I don't know how. That's one of those weird scheduling quirks where they didn't get that. But hey,
right.
We did see what happened when they did play a team filled with Division I scholarship athletes. It was Notre Dame. Got crushed. We saw the great. I mean, 49-14. So Tulane, yes, they're not Notre Dame, but they still have scholarship D1 athletes on their team. So hey, I believe this has 16-10 written all over. It's going to be one of those fast-paced games. But you can say, calculate. Why is the Tulane not going to score a lot of points? Well, folks, it is going to be starting temperatures of 28 degrees. So it's going to be cold for these Louisiana boys. So yeah, I think that's going to play a factor. But hey, I don't care if it's cold. I don't care if it's at Army's home field advantage. I'd like Tulane to not only cover, but to cover, by touchdown. But folks, again, I got an insider, right? Westgate Superbook insider Art Deseri is saying money is continually to pour in on Tulane. They are actually being out leveraged. So they're begging people to come and take Army on the other side, but there's no takers so far. So that's why I think the casinos are going to be forced to push that number up even further to try and get people to come into Army. So right now, try and get that 5 because this could go all the way to 6, 6.5. I don't think it's going to hit the key number of 7, but if you can get that 5, now's the time to jump on it. So yeah, now's the time to get the Greenway -5.
Yep. Don't waste no time. That's why you hit that notification bell so you
That's
get that
right.
info.
Try and get it early, folks.
That's right. And just like what you want to do next season when you go to a Peach County game, you want to get in line early
That's
because
right.
Friday is
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
be firing up, right?
and if you get in the third quarter, the fries are out. I got to stop cooking at a certain time. So usually third quarter hits, no more fries.
That's right. But I know they be in line calculated,
Oh,
just
man, that is
like
crazy.
just getting that aroma.
Oh,
It just smells so
it
good,
fills up there. You can see it as soon you can smell it as soon as you get out of the car.
That's right. And I think we can smell something else here.
You know what that means?
Yes, sir. It is smelly line time, and hey, we're gonna have a history lesson, Mister 411. I'm gonna give a quick history lesson, and
All right.
it's not long term history. This is short term history. These two exact teams played Friday night before Halloween. And before this game, the line was Boise State -4 at UNLV. And if you listen to our
Ooh.
show, hey, you can listen to our show. We don't hide from our shows. It's out there on the internet. It's not deleted. We said take Boise State because they were going to cover the 4 against UNLV. And guess what? They won by 5 due to a late touchdown plunge by Genty. Yes, I was able to watch the second half because they played on Friday night, and I had to get home early to watch that from that because that was a Peach County home game that night too. But I had to go and watch the end of that Boise State UNLV game. So, and this line come out, so I'm thinking, hey, Boise State at home, this is going to be 7.5, maybe a hook in there. Folks, the line is still -4, but it's at Boise State. I was like, oh my God, am I seeing things? Listen, is this a trap game? Vegas is pulling the old reverse smelly line fake out. Refer to UCF versus BYU for reference. What that means is they're trying to make it a smelly line to fake you out to get UNLV. I'm not falling for it. And folks, there are some handicappers out there that are picking UNLV strictly because they smell something. So this is the fake out time, folks. And especially Friday night, Vegas can get away with it because I think they're going to try and make their money on Saturday. So yeah, I'm not falling for it. UNLV was successful in shutting down Genty in the last matchup. If you consider 126 yards as shutting somebody down, but you know what? They were at home, folks. Even if they managed to have the same success and game plan on the blue turf against Genty, we got a quarterback. Look at that stat right there. 21 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. The man takes care of the ball, and guess what? His numbers are even better at home. Folks, I just don't see how this is going to be within the number. I see Boise State. I see Genty being successful. Hey, I think on Underdog, Prize Picks, take the over in carries. Don't take the over in yards because even if UNLV can shut him down, but you know what? Boise State's still going to feed him. He's going to have over 30 carries in this game, and so because he's the engine that makes him run, and they got to keep giving him to keep those linebackers and those safeties up, and then that's when that's when he's so successful through the year. So yes, folks. Don't fall for the reverse smelly line fake out. Take Boise State to bring their A game to get the number 4 seed, folks. They're playing for that first round bye in the playoff. And UNLV is playing to get now UNLV, if they win, word is they could get a first round bye if Arizona State wins their game. So, it's one of those things that Boise State has a lot to play for. UNLV has a lot to pay for. So, but I'm taking the home team. I love home teams on Friday night, Mr. 411. I said it before. I'll say it again. They play better in general at home. So take the Boise State to cover the 4 in Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And this is going to be look, this is setting up to be a great game, man. And people don't need to sleep on this game. I know it's way out west and it's in Boise and all the attention's on the Power 4 teams and everything. But UNLV and Boise State, that's a great matchup. And with all this at stake, like you said, man, you gotta watch this one. And it's gonna be an exciting game. I can't wait, man. I think I'm gonna watch every snap of that game.
And here's another thing for people. Boise State has 1 loss this year. Do you know who that's to, Mr. 411?
Number one team in the country, Oregon.
Exactly. So I think Boise State is a pretty good team. So yeah, considering they're the only, Ohio State has 2 losses, one to Oregon, one to, so that, that just goes to show you Boise State has, and also it was a close game. Boise State covered.
Yeah, it wasn't a blowout.
No. I mean, Boise State kept score for score with them at the end. So Boise State's got some athletes, and when they have something for, a lot of people say they kind of put their gas off the pedal lately, and that's why this line. I don't care about the last 4 games because when Boise State is motivated, they can put up points and they can put them up quick, and I think they will be motivated for this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ashley had a huge game against Oregon too.
Yes.
So that just goes to show you that they can get things done. So, but UNLV, a rivalry, this is gonna be fun, man. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
All right. So, man, what else I can't wait for, calculator, is hey man, look, I was in DC recently and man, they got a great sports book place to go watch the games and everything and drop your friendly wagers and things like that. They have the 21, they have the roulette table and everything. There's a lot of good stuff going on in DC, man. And what a lot of people want to do when they go there, calculator, is this.
Big win! Epic win!
Yes, sir. I'm telling you, this win is giving me goosebumps when I see it, and I'll tell you why. Hey, Arizona State, wonderful story. After they were picked to finish 16th in the conference preseason, right, in the Big 12.
Right.
And after they lost their second game against Cincinnati back all the way in October 19th, a lot of people wrote them off saying, hey, they had a good early run. Well, you know what? Arizona State said, well, we could run the table and still have a chance. And guess what? They did. They did. They hadn't lost since October 19th. But hey, when you have the combination, what they were rolling out there of Jordan Tyson through the air, Scatterbo, whatever you want to call them, right? On the ground, they were very unpredictable, very balanced, very hard to defend. However, receiving star Tyson, Jordan Tyson injured his shoulder just last week against Arizona. And folks, I think the books only baked a 1.5 point in this thing. And I gave one of the Tyson, considering he was so far ahead of just the secondary option in Arizona State, I had him worth 3 points in my model. So it's like, hey, and this is where we're going to exploit it, folks. I don't see how a one-dimensional team will be able to beat an experienced team on the other side at Jerry's World at AT&T in Arlington, Texas. Hey, I mentioned before, when we've taken Arizona in the past, we always like them when they were at their home field. They're not going to be on the home field this time. It's a neutral field. And again, Iowa State, more experience, been in this situation before, so they're gonna have that going for them. I would also like a nice, calculator loves trends almost more than anybody, right? The last 3 games that Iowa State has played as an underdog against a ranked team, they are 3-0 against the spread, but guess what? 3 outright wins. So yes, Matt Campbell will have his folks ready. I think they make it 4-0. And folks, I'm not going on saying they're going to cover the spread at 2. I have them winning the game outright. That's why you got 2 picks there, Mr. 4-1. I say
yes,
take the +2, and you know what? Sprinkle some on the money line, folks, because Iowa State wins this one outright, folks. I love the Cyclones in this spot. And also you get you don't have to pay the vig when you're on the money line on this type thing. So hey, just go on the money line and I'm feeling good about that, because I think, like I said, I think Jordan Tyson is going to be a huge missing piece in this game for the Arizona the Arizona State Sun Devils.
Yeah. All right. That's the Big 12, man. And think about it, man. The prediction of that conference, man. These teams weren't even supposed to be there. in midair.
Exactly. I mean, you know, and Arizona State started out so hot, but yeah, I mean, or Iowa State, but then Arizona State finished hot. Iowa State had that 2-game bump at the end and everything, but then they're adjusted and then they come back. And you know, when it comes down to the end, I want the experienced quarterback, and that's what Iowa State will bring. Rocco Beck, I mean, he showed it in the Iowa game when he won the calculator a ton of money when they came back in the second half. Yes, they will struggle against Scatterboo a little, but not to the point where they're going to lose the game.
Yeah. All
because
right.
Because Tyson's not going to be there to cause they're not going to have to play 2 deep safety. They can bring the safeties up to help against Scatterbo. I'm telling you that Jordan Tyson is going to affect the whole game.
Here's a difference maker. Yeah, yes. Difference maker. I mean, you're talking 70+ receptions, 1,000+ yards. I mean,
10 touchdowns.
Man, that's a monster, man. Yeah. We might be drafting him in fantasy, man. We might talk about him on the fantasy football show.
Scatterbo scored 6 touchdowns in the past 2 games. Well, you know why? Because people playing 2 deep safeties against Jordan Tyson.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, look, this next matchup, hey, nothing to say about it, calculator.
Yes. That says, hey, we don't even need an analysis, do we, Mr. 411? I mean, when you show that picture, you know where the calculator is going, folks. We've shown her twice this year, and against Texas in the first game when we said, hey, don't underestimate Georgia. Went against Tennessee, and guess what? They covered against Tennessee. We said we don't care how they played the last game. Folks, when people doubt Georgia, that's when you bet Georgia. Hey, and guess what? Bo got in my DMs earlier this week, Mr. 41 saying, hey, as soon as the line came out, I said, what in the world is, I mean, they're giving, does the Vegas want to give money to the Georgia Bulldogs again? I mean, Georgia is the underdog again. And let me tell you, when the Kirby's an underdog, that's a good thing. And, you know, I don't care, folks. When I've been listening to the talking heads talk about why they're taking Texas, all I hear about is, last time Georgia was playing with short fields, and and there's no way they can replicate. Folks, do you realize that? Hey, Beck threw 3 touchdowns or 3 interceptions in that game as well. So it's not like Texas didn't have some benefits in that. And guess what? They still got rolled 30-15. Folks, don't get fooled. Oh, yeah. And it's in Atlanta. Let me tell you how many.
Another home game for Georgia.
Come on. Yeah. 2 hours away. Yeah, it's 2 hours down I-20. And you can get to from Athens to Atlanta, Georgia to cheer the Bulldogs on. Hey, Georgia's they said, welcome to the SEC in their first matchup. And they said, welcome to the SEC again when they listen. Okay. I think Archie Manning will be inserted more because they got a package for him. And that is the one thing that Georgia has struggled against. It showed against Georgia Tech. They struggle against that Russian quarterback. And you know what? I think that might be enough to keep it, but it's not going to be enough to where Georgia's going to be, because I'm telling you, Beck's going to have a better game, in my opinion, in this game. So if you get a better Beck, and you always saw what they did, they got 30-15, folks, they got the advantage on the defensive line. Oh, yeah. And the number one offensive line prospect in the NFL, in college, going to the NFL, is left tackle for the Texas. Well, guess what? He was in a walking boot against Texas A&M. So that could, hey, you don't think those defensive ends for Georgia's going to be looking at that? They're going to be lumping there. Hey, and let me tell you, they struggled him last week. How are they going to do when he's limping in there? So yeah, I think Georgia will come out. I think they'll be firing. I think Beck is going to have. I think ever since they took his Lamborghini away, Beck said, "Oh man, I need to play better to get that Lamborghini back." And I think he's going to do it, because I think he the only way take the Bulldogs. Cheerleader, we're gonna have the picture up. I know we're sharing it. We used her last year. We started using her 3 years ago. And the karma that she brings, she's going to propel the Bulldogs to another SEC championship and a first round bye. That's why we need them to win it, because I want Texas I want Texas to try and put out one of those earlier Big Ten teams in the first round, because Texas is a good team. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't think they're going to be able to hand Georgia, especially in Atlanta.
Wow. Hey, man, SEC championship on the line and a major seeding on the line. They're both going to make the tournament.
Yeah.
But this is more about placement right now.
This
And,
is for a first round bye, and folks, a bye is huge when you get into college football because you get rested up and you can it gives you extra time to game plan. So yeah, I love the first round bye is huge, and that's why you really want it.
well, calculated in our next matchup, I think it's a similar situation. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but in the Big Ten, you have there's Penn State and Oregon going
Yeah,
at it in Indianapolis
yeah.
for the Big Ten championship.
And you win the Big Ten championship, you get a first round bye. So that's why they say you hear the thing, you don't want to penalize a team for being in a championship. And I don't think these teams will get penalized. They're still in the tournament, like we said.
Right.
But they're going to give an incentive by saying, hey, you win, you go to your conference championship, you play that extra game, and you get that extra win, we'll give you a first round bye as a reward. So the winner of this game will get the first round bye as well and get to avoid that first round matchup. And hey, we've seen it in fantasy football, we've seen in the NFL. You get that first round bye, it is a huge advantage because you can't lose while you're on a bye week, right? So hey,
right,
yeah, the one key in this, James Franklin, okay, since he's been with Penn State, 1-14 against top 5 opponents in his tenure. 1-4, folks, that's one win against top 5 teams. And guess what? Oregon's a top 5 team. Oregon has the athletes to contain Penn State's best offensive player. You see him right there, Tyler Warren, tight end, the best offensive weapon. Well, guess what? What is the strength of Oregon's defense? They're linebackers. They can hang with him. Guess what? On the other side, the best defensive player for Penn State, defensive end Abdul Carter. Well, guess what? Oregon has been rated as a top 3 college offensive line. And guess what? Unlike Ohio State and unlike Texas, from what I understand, all of them are healthy and they'll be able to contain Abdul Carter. So I think, and what's the X factor? What's the major difference in this game? In my opinion, it's quarterback. Dylan Gabriel is better than Drew Aller. That's all there is to it. You can look for it yourself. 32-26, one's 18-5, pretty good, but 24-6. Listen, this is a touchdown. I can actually see Oregon winning double digits in this game, folks, because it's going to be in the dome. That's where the Oregon Ducks, play on that fast turf. Dylan Gabriel loves it on turf, and I'm telling you, watch the linebackers for Oregon. They will be flying around that field. Watch the offensive line. They will be mauling they'll be double teaming Carter because, hey, don't get me wrong, Abdul Carter's a first round pick next year, so he could, but I don't think he's going to be wrecking havoc to where he controls the game because what can you do with Abdul? Do a little chip, roll out, slow him down, and then Dylan Gabriel finds one of those little short passes. So even though Penn State has probably had the best offensive player besides Dylan Gabriel and Ty Warren, best defensive player and Abdul Carter, I've always told my daughter in soccer, I'm going to compare this to a soccer team. I will give the other team the best 2 players on the field if I can have the next 10 best players on the field. And the next 10 best players on the field will be the 2 if the other team has the 2 best players. That's just a fact of life. So I'm going to take the team. I'm going to take the team with the better overall players after the Abdul Carter, after Ty Warren. So because I think Oregon can not only win, I think they win fairly comfortably. But hey, folks, we looked at this show, and this isn't one of our picks, but I'm going to highlight real quick, Miss 4-1, if you don't mind, the Clemson game. The reason I didn't pick this game is because I think SMU is going to win. However, you don't want to bet against Clemson in ACC championship game because Dabo Swinney is fake. So you know what? That's why it's 3.5, 2. I think it moved down to 2. So you could take Dabo as an underdog because you can play Dabo, but I just have a feeling about SMU. So that's why even though I think that SMU is going to win, I don't think good enough to bet against Dabo Swinney. So that's why the Clemson game did not make our sheet, because I can't give good enough advice on that, because there's underlying metrics. And you can have SMU has an edge in every single thing except mystique, except experience that's really hard to calculate in a point spread. So that's why I'm just going to watch that game and have fun. Because let me tell you, if Clemson wins this, then you're going to have the SMU Alabama debate on in the playoffs and schedule.
Yeah, they be talking about that all night.
And then they're going to be talking about, hey, you're penalizing SMU for playing that extra championship game when you're letting these other teams in that didn't have to play in a championship game. So man, if Clemson beats SMU, let the arguments begin. So I'm just going to watch back and watch the chaos, happen, because there is no way you can tell me that if SMU loses this game, they're going to be yelling, "You're penalizing us by playing an extra game," while other people are sitting at home. And they can say, "Hey, Indiana has only one loss, and SMU and." Folks, SMU has a weak schedule. SMU didn't play Clemson. SMU didn't play Miami. SMU had one of the weaker ACC schedules. However, they got to play this extra game.
They do, calculator, and it's going to raise a lot of questions, man. And I'm sure you got one too.
Oh yeah, people probably wondering, oh man, are we ending early? No, folks, we're not winning early, because we gotta always believe, especially with the season we're at. What are the 3 things Mr. 411 believes in?
All right, and by the way, that's a beautiful thumbnail right there, showing the calculator in the 411 Sports World shirt. Got the money on the screen and everything.
Yes,
Crossing the lines, everybody.
That's right.
Make sure you hit that like, subscribe,
Championship
notification bell,
week,
share.
baby.
Championship week. All right, but yeah, the 3 things Mr. 411 believes in. First, Mr. 411 believes in the man upstairs, man. Look at that image, man. That is just
beautiful.
It's the greatest image of all time. Just look at it. You know what I'm saying? And without the man upstairs calculator, all things don't align the way that they need to. And just real quick for everybody, man, things happen for a reason in our lives. And people intersect into your life. They come in, come out. Things happen, lead you in a different direction, but it's all for a purpose. And the man upstairs already has the answers for you. So you have to just trust and believe in the man upstairs. And without that man upstairs calculator, me and you don't cross paths like we did. And look at what's going on now today, man.
Yeah.
Crossing the lines.
Yes,
So yeah, man upstairs. And then look, every week calculator. Now we're in the month.
That's
I mean, we're 20 days out.
Yes, sir. Jingle bells,
Oh,
jingle
Saint
bells.
Old Saint Nick, man. And I know that he's probably got everything about wrapped up now, getting with Bo over there at the Coles Distribution, getting all the items together so that they can get them all out by December 25th.
Yeah.
And then also, calculator, can't forget this guy. And it's really leading us right into our next segment. It's Dr. Sachs, man.
Dr. Sachs, baby.
Mr. 411 believes in Dr. Sachs and the algorithm.
Yes, sir. The algorithm. He knows the algorithm. He knows that he has a formula, and we are so appreciative that, hey, he doesn't share us the meats and the potatoes, but he shows us the finished product of what it is. And that's all we need. I don't care what goes in that turkey dressing. I just like it when it comes out and it's hot. And
yes, sir.
No, we don't care, right? And that's how it is with this. And he said, hey, and also, another thing about Dr. Sachs, he is known as me and some other people in his tight circle. We know he knows the MAC, the Mid Atlantic. He has made a living off of Tuesday night MAC matchups. So I always, when there's a MAC championship playing at 12 o'clock on Ford Field, I say, Dr. Sachs, do you got any insight? He says, calculator. I like Ohio Bobcats at +2 against Ohio Redhawks. And well, you know what, folks? I just looked and I just got a beep on my phone. It's at 1.5. So I think Dr. Sachs has already released his pick on Twitter. So it looks like people are running to the
they running in there, mate.
Like, oh my gosh! So because Dr. Sachs actually got it at 2.5 when he bet his, he was happy. So now that's the thing. That's why we say like, subscribe, and notify, because once Dr. Sachs, we try to get this out before the Dr. Sachs tweet comes out. So to his customers, but yeah, but he likes the Bobcats. He thinks they win straight up. He thinks it's a good revenge spot too. Miami Redhawks did beat Ohio earlier this year at home, but again, as we know, this is a neutral field, and Ohio Bobcats got a nice little streak going. So the algorithm likes Ohio Bobcats to revenge against the Miami Ohio Redhawks.
Oh
Take
man.
and that's why we also say do some line shopping, because you can find. I think I saw 2 on BetUS, and I think I saw 2 on DraftKings, but everywhere else like Caesars, Bellagio, all those got moved to 1.5. So yeah, definitely do some line shopping to make sure you get the best line.
There it is. All right. That's the same thing I do at the grocery store, man. When I go to Publix, I'm looking for that BOGO, man.
That's
I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? I'm digging around so I get that deal, man.
that's right.
But yeah, man, we love Dr. Sachs and the algorithm, man.
Yes,
So
sir.
there it is, man. Calculator, can't wait, man.
Oh man, I'm gonna be
Good
glued
games this week, man.
from Friday night, and my daughter who's in college, she's coming down for Christmas break, and she watches football with me. So, and she's one of those
Okay.
ones. So we'll be happy. And it was my birthday last week, and my daughter came down for my birthday, and watched football with me all day Saturday. And she watched, and she didn't have to go back because she didn't have one of her finals till late Monday. So she watched pretty much all Sunday with me, the pro games. So yeah, she said, Dad, Justin Tucker, he killed the Baltimore Ravens this week. I said,
Yeah.
You said he was a good kicker. I said, he's been a good kicker, but every now and then people miss kicks, So yeah, she's very intuitive. She reminds me of stuff I've said like 2 months ago,
Yeah.
and but hey, I enjoy watching football with her. And my other daughter, my oldest daughter, the one that heads the Peach County concession stand, she's calling me up when Georgia's playing. So I have a feeling she'll be calling me during the Georgia-Texas game, because she called me in the Georgia-Texas last week, and she said, Dad, you said Georgia was going to beat Texas. I said, that's why I said it before the game and not during the game. And guess what? That's why I'm glad you taped Mr. 401, so I can prove that, hey, I had him last time, and I stood by it. And yeah, I can say sometimes I told you so.
Yeah, calculator. All we have to do is continue to point everybody to 401 Sportsbook Network. They can go to the Crossing the Lines.
Yes.
We have a tab for Crossing the Lines. You can go to the live section. You can go to the playlist. There's a playlist for Crossing the Lines, and every episode, like you said, calculator is right there. So yeah, you can check out all the stuff about the calculator.
And unlike some people, Mr. 401, I want people to fact check me. So
there you go.
You go and check because I'm not going to tell you. I might exaggerate the truth sometimes, but I'm not going to tell you a straight lie. And that's why you can go back and fact check me if you like.
Absolutely. All right. Well, look, calculator, man, another great week, man. And hey, man, it's getting a little chilly outside, but hey, we have reason to stay inside and watch some football.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. Well, for the calculator, and we thank calculator for being on again. And we thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, notification bell, and share, because sharing is caring. Make sure you just get everybody involved, man. Get everybody to follow us on YouTube. And also TikTok as well. I know your daughter and all of her crew, they can't wait for
County
this to
drama
upload
team.
on
The drama folks love you on TikTok, Mr. 411.
All right, I can't wait, and they let them know the upload is coming soon. So that upload, this episode will be on TikTok. It'll be on there. Matter of fact, it'll be on there tonight, calculator. Tonight.
Love it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Bo, you know what it is, man.
No.
This was for you, Bo. We out of here.